Hey, my name is Nate, and today we're going to be talking about the potential return of Super Mario 3D All-Stars and Super Mario Bros. 35. Ever since these games were first announced, they've kind of been ticking time bombs. We knew that at some point in time they were going to go away, and now that day has finally come, and they are gone. However, there has been a lot of speculation going around that these games could possibly return to us in some way or shape or form, and today that's what I want to talk about. So first up is Super Mario 3D All-Stars. Now, I personally think that the package of Super Mario 3D All-Stars, it's gone for good. The reason why I think this is that they had a very definitive end date for this particular game, and I really don't think that they would bring it back after they said that they were gonna get rid of it. However, I do think that it's possible in the future we could get these games separately on the Switch in some way, shape, or form. Now, first off, I could see that Nintendo re-releases these games as standalone separate games on the Nintendo eShop. This would make sense to them because they would be able to, release these games, still make money for them. It wouldn't necessarily be associated with the 35th anniversary anymore because of the 3D All-Stars package, but it instead would be them being released as separate games as Super Mario 64, Sunshine, and Galaxy. And they could price it differently, they could maybe even make more money off of that. I personally don't really like this route. Some people might because they might want to pick and choose which games they play, but that's a possibility that I think Nintendo could go down. Now, the next way that I could see Nintendo reviving some of these games in a standalone format is through the Nintendo Switch Online service. Up till now, we've been able to play Nintendo Entertainment System games and Super Nintendo Entertainment System games through the Nintendo Switch Online service. However, over time, the amount of releases we've been getting from Nintendo has kind of slowly stopped, and we're not getting as many as we used to. And so this would be a good opportunity for them to kind of revive that service for a lot of people by doing, say, a Nintendo 64 Nintendo Switch Online service, or maybe even a Nintendo GameCube Nintendo Switch Online service. Now, I personally don't think that we're going to see a Nintendo Wii Nintendo Switch Online system that goes up there. And the reason why I think this is because later on this year, we're getting Skyward Sword re-released on the Switch. We've also gotten Xenoblade Chronicles re-released on the Switch. So there's a lot of opportunity for Nintendo to remaster some of those Wii games. So I really don't think we're going to get Super Mario Galaxy or some Nintendo Wii Nintendo Switch Online service, sadly. But I do think there's a high probability that we could get the Nintendo 64 online service. And I personally love that because we get to still have Super Mario 64. People who didn't buy the package would be able to get it. Plus, we'd get a bunch of other games, hopefully, with that type of a service or system or whatever you want to call it. And I would really enjoy that. So this is an option that I really want. Now, lastly, the last way I can kind of see these games being revived is through a Nintendo Switch Pro. And the reason why I say this is Nintendo might be kind of scheming back there and want people to really buy a Nintendo Switch Pro when it comes out in the future, if it does. And in order to bolster sales for that system, they might say, oh, Nintendo Switch Online is available on the Switch Pro, and it also has the ability to play Nintendo 64 games and Nintendo GameCube games, whereas the base Nintendo Switch console doesn't have the ability to do that, so you should buy the Nintendo Switch Pro. Now, this would be kind of a slimy move to a lot of people, but it's definitely a way these could come back. It would definitely make that system more attractive to a lot of people, and it would be good for people who, didn't buy the Nintendo Switch. They wanted to buy 3D All-Stars, but they just didn't have a Switch. So now there's a new system out there that comes with it bundled with the Nintendo Switch Online service. So that might be a good thing for some people. And I personally would enjoy that too, because I plan on getting a Switch Pro if it does come out. And so I would love to have extra games or extra functionality added into that Switch Pro if indeed it does come out in the future. So overall, these are a couple of different ways that I think 3D All-Stars could be revived. Now, next I want to talk about Super Mario Bros. 35. While with Super Mario 3D All-Stars, if you've already downloaded the game or you own a physical copy of the game, you can continue playing that. However, with Super Mario Bros. 35, that game is done. We can't play that game anymore at all, which is really sad to me that this is happening. And I imagine that there's a lot of developers out there who they worked on this game, and if I was a developer, I wouldn't just want to have my game out there for 6 months and then suddenly nobody can play it at all. That would be really sad to me. So I'm sure there's a lot of people internally in the company that want this game to keep going on. So today I've thought of a couple of ways, just based off of speculation I've come up with, and then also speculation I've seen online of how this game, Super Mario Bros. 35, could come back to us in some way, shape, or form. Now, again, with similar to Super Mario 3D All-Stars, I think Super Mario Bros. 35 is gone for good. It was clearly associated with the 35th anniversary of Super Mario, and so I think that they're not going to revive it. It just wouldn't really make sense to revive Super Mario Bros. 35, but I do think we could get maybe a Super Mario Bros. 99. As many of you know, on the Nintendo Switch Online service, we have Tetris 99, which is a battle royale game for Tetris, and the setup and style of that game is very similar to Super Mario Bros. 35. Now, the same people who made that game also were making Super Mario Bros. 35, and because of that, I could really see them simply boosting that number up from 35 to 99. And I would absolutely love this idea. The game itself was already very hectic with 35 players, so boosting it up to 99 would be extremely hectic. As you're destroying enemies, they're sent to other players, and because there'd be more players, there'd be more chances for the number of enemies to keep multiplying like a virus and keep getting bigger and bigger, and it would just be so hectic, and I can just already imagine how fun it would be. Now, for some people, this might be too hectic, and I don't know how intensive this would be on the Switch, or if the Switch could even handle doing 99 different Marios on the screen, and so maybe this type of a thing wouldn't release until a Nintendo Switch Pro, or maybe it's not Super Mario Bros. 99, maybe it's like a Super Mario Bros. 50. But either way, I could see it returning in that type of a format, and that would be great for players because we'd still get to play the game, but it would just be a little bit different from when it was during the 35th anniversary. Now, another way that I could see Super Mario Bros. 35 being revived is, well, we have the Olympics out there, that's every 4 years. We have the World Cup, that's every 4 years. Maybe Nintendo wants to pull one of those moves and do this every 5 years. So maybe in 5 years from now, we'll get Super Mario Bros. 40. I personally don't think that's going to happen, but that's just an idea I had. And it would be kind of cool to have this game pop up every 5 years, but it would probably be a little bit outdated 5 years from now, so I really don't think that's going to happen. Now, my final idea for reviving Super Mario Bros. 35 would be doing a Super Mario Bros. Battle Royale game. Now, essentially what this would be is where they simply take the Super Mario Bros. 35 concept and apply it to other games similar to Super Mario Maker, where they would take that Battle Royale nature of Super Mario Bros. 35 and then apply it to Super Mario Bros. 2 or Super Mario Bros. 3. And we get to play through those levels as the different forms of Mario, and it would be super hectic and a lot of fun. Now, I personally think that this is the least likely out of the different ideas I've suggested to happen, but for me, it gets excited thinking and speculating about different ways how this game could come back to us in some way, shape, or form. Now, I've talked about a couple of different ways how Super Mario 3D All-Stars and Super Mario Bros. 35 could come back to us in some way, shape, or form. And one thing I do need to keep in mind is that Nintendo has said that this is a celebration celebrating the 35th anniversary, and they seem like they're sticking to their guns that these games are gonna be gone for good. And this makes me sad inside because I really enjoyed Super Mario Bros. 35, and I'm never going to be able to play it again. And people who didn't own a Switch or didn't have enough money to buy Super Mario Bros. 35, if they didn't buy it within the last couple of months, well, they're never going to have a chance to do that again. And it's really sad that, Nintendo made that choice. I remember when I was younger, when the 3DS came out, my friends, they bought it the first month that it came out, and that meant they got to be included on the Nintendo Ambassador program, so they got lots of Game Boy Advance games, and I bought the 3DS later on in the year, and I wasn't included in that, and it was really sad to miss out on that, and so I was a little bit disappointed that Nintendo was doing this. Now, I'm not going to go out there and say they're a horrible company or anything like that. I think all companies have ups and downs, and right now they're kind of in a down, They didn't release a lot of games last year, and they're doing this, which is not great, but I have hope for the future that we're going to get better games, and that these games, Super Mario 3D All-Stars and Super Mario Bros. 35, could come back to us in some way, shape, or form. We've seen a lot of times throughout Nintendo's history that they've revived past games, and I think that this has a possibility to happen. Well, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye!